Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso, and I'm so excited to have you here today to talk about the big news of the day, which is that this morning OMB issued the 2022 compliance supplement. So this is wonderful news. The past couple of years, the supplement didn't come out until August, making those June 30 year end really difficult to plan when the guidance for the audits didn't come out until months later. So now we have it before our June 30 year ends, and we can really plan, and it includes several changes that we need to be aware of. So again, it was issued today, May 12th, as our little May gift. And again, it is updated annually, so we were expecting it. Originally, OMB had said it was going to come out in April. In the middle of April, they kind of said May, but we did get it out before May 15th, so I'm going to call this a huge win. So some of the things that you should be paying attention to in the new supplement always start with Appendix 5, which is the list of changes. It's a very high level overview, but it does go over at the program level and assistance listing number level. What are some of the things that are changing? And that's a good place to always start. In addition, while we retain the PIC 6, right, 6 compliance requirements that will be subject to audit, which of the 6 are going to be subject to audit has changed for several. Those are highlighted in bold and yellow. So again, you want to make sure, consistent with what we did in 2019, 2020, 2021 supplements, you're looking at what is changing and making sure you're really auditing the compliance requirements that are subject to audit. We do have guidance on a whole bunch of new programs, which is really exciting. Many of them are related to ARPA, the emergency rental assistance, the homeowner assistance. We actually thought that was going to come out in a addendum for the 21 supplement. It never did. The capital projects fund, the emergency connectivity fund, and then the big one that everybody's been really waiting for, which is shuttered venue. If I get one more call about shuttered venue, I am so happy to have this. Now, again, this is only for non-federal entities. We are still waiting on guidance for those for-profit entities. It should be forthcoming, but you do want to make sure. Now, what if you're questioning, well, I have some 2021 shuttered venue and there was no guidance and we haven't issued a report. Can I look at this? Yes, but you don't have to. You are allowed to use Part 7. So if you are really far along and you are done, that is fine. This could be used, though, if you haven't gotten very far because you were kind of spinning your wheels trying to figure out. So you can use it, but you're not required to. There's no expectation that you use it for your 2021 audits. But if that's something that would help you, then by all means, you are eligible to use it. And again, please wait. If it's for-profit entities, there is guidance forthcoming. So you want to be checking the SBA website for that. And then the Family Violence Prevention and Services for Domestic Violence Shelter and Supportive Services were the last of the new programs. However, there were quite a few programs that had changes. No surprise, ESF, that one's been a moving target from the very beginning. There were new programs, mostly from ARPA, that were added. And so you can see here where we got RV and RT that was added. And then we also had movement, right? So we have Section 1, which are our ESSER type funds are for lower school, middle school, high school, our school districts, right? Our K-12 type schools. And then Section 2 was our big kids, our colleges and universities, those HERF type funds. And so we have these Section 1 and Section 2, and then we had neither Section 1 nor Section 2. In that scenario, 84-425P was moved to Section 2. In the past, obviously, it had been in a different section. So in that scenario, again, there's some movement around. In addition, Section 2 now identifies cash management as subject to audit for the first time. It wasn't subject in the prior years. So obviously pay close attention to those school districts and those universities. Those are really big dollars that are still out there. And then SLRF, the thing that came out first in the addendum. This is still identified as a higher risk program, but it does incorporate the changes because last year we had the interim final rule, but then the final rule was issued and there were changes particularly around the calculation for lost revenue and kind of having a streamlined offering and a couple of things related to some of those bonuses, et cetera. And so that was updated to incorporate those changes. And it talks about the alternative compliance examination. Again, 10,000 potential entities who won't need a single audit, who can instead have an examination engagement done under Yellow Book. And so explains that within here. In terms of provider relief funds, again, the gift that keeps on giving, it technically did get an update and renamed. It is still a higher risk program. However, that was also funded under ARP, so they had to add some additional guidance there. And then again, it clarifies the amount of expenditures and lost revenue for those period 5 payments. So last year they covered periods 1 through 4, and some of it actually said wait for the 22 supplement. So we have the 22 supplement, but it also addresses period 5. Again, there were other COVID-19 related changes and ARP related changes. Those are the biggest ones as identified by the Government Audit Quality Center. In terms of our clusters, every time I talk about student financial assistance, people just kind of nod their head because this is the gift that keeps on giving. There's always changes for regulatory environment. And again, they're normally in the area of special tests and provisions. No exception here. So if you are doing higher ed and they have a lot of student financial assistance, please pay attention to those changes. Other clusters, again, they move some things around. They remove some of the assistance listing numbers from the cluster and the highway program safety. Again, you can see here quite a few of the assistance listing numbers were removed. So you want to pay attention if you're performing clusters, whether it's actually even still in that cluster. Just like last year, they still have a list of what they consider to be higher risk programs. All the programs from 2021 carried forward with the exception of the Coronavirus Relief Fund, which is no longer on there. That money has really run out as of December of 2021, so I'm not surprised to hear that. And so that one was removed, and a lot of that money was spent already. There's just obviously some lingering money, but a lot of it has been spent and so was removed as higher risk. Now it also just lists the specific ARP programs that were included as higher risk instead of the method we used in 2021. It also explains, again, what does higher risk mean for major program determination? And so, again, what is the consideration for A programs versus B programs? And again, they talk about whether something is, significantly funded by COVID-related funding. And again, it identifies which programs are 100% COVID-19 related funding so that you would understand that implication for major programs. Last but not least, Appendix 7, which is one of my favorite. Again, we talked about those SLRF recipients having the alternative compliance examination. This emphasizes the use of it and again talks about the requirements to follow the government auditing standards and then the AICPA attestation standards and gives a little bit of information. And then we are getting a transition on the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. Currently, it's being housed by Census, and now it's being moved to the General Services Administration, or GSA. And so again, they're talking about what is going to be accepted. And then again, starting with the new submission period, how is that going to impact it, and also provide some of the deadlines for completion for wrapping up some of those prior year items as they move the location and the responsibilities. So that's it. Good news. We also aren't expecting any addendums after multiple years of addendums. We kind of expect that this is just our initial. What they have said are there are no current plans for any addendums for 2022. There are obviously a lot of fundings in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that have not yet been addressed. Those will just be addressed in the 2023 supplement, similar to how SVOG was addressed in 2022. It never made it into the 2021 or the 2 addendums that came out. You're just sometimes going to have to wait. So again, lots of excitement as we get ready for our 6/30 year ends. This is obviously a busy time for many governments and nonprofits and their auditors who are ramping up for single audit season. And so we have a supplement we can celebrate and we can get ready and start planning for these changes and for these audits. Again, so many new entities getting single audits. Having an early supplement is really a blessing. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope to see you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.